we relate to such situations based on the Buddha Dhamma principles? Sadhu.
Well, one of the teachings the Buddha emphasized is patience. So if you don't understand something, you may have to accept that fact, but be patient with the situation and your lack of understanding, not knowing. You remind yourself, oh, I better be patient here, which sometimes means to pause or wait a bit until you maybe find out more information, get more understanding, because you're not clear or don't know what to do. So that's the first step, generally to be patient with it, and then seek to get more information, get more knowledge. So a very quick way for somebody who's really confused, or maybe consult a teacher or a good Dhamma friend, what we call Kalyana Mitta. So you're not sure what's happening, well, you talk to someone. You tell them what's going on, or you give them some explanation and you wait and see what they think about it. And that often helps us when we don't know the best course of action. If there's no one else around, well, you might have to do it for yourself. And the best way to help yourself understand something better is bring up the mindfulness. That's why people who meditate have an advantage in life, because they know how to calm the mind, bring the mindfulness up, maybe using a certain meditation technique like the breathing, or recollecting the Buddha, or cultivating loving kindness, for example. These are just examples of meditation techniques. If you do that regularly in your life, then when you're facing a difficult situation, difficult decision, or you're not sure what's happening, you're confused, you go to your meditation object and you calm your mind and bring up this sense of awareness, mindfulness. Then your intelligence works better and you can think things through better and make better decisions, because you're coming from a place of clarity and calm. So if you're on your own, maybe that's all you can do. Or if you're with someone else, well, if they're a wise person or someone you trust, maybe you can consult them and ask them as well. So that's a good way to go. For example, quite a few people I know, they've been in some form of exam, maybe an oral exam, like a lot of even Malaysian doctors, they go to Australia, they want to start working in Australia, they've got to pass an exam, medical exam. They're already a doctor qualified here, but then they have to go over there and pass this exam, and it's an oral exam, and there's a board of doctors panel asking questions, checking how much you know, and the doctor's like, and they get all nervous, and then they come to me for a blessing, and I say, yep, I'll bless you. And I always say, have you done the preparation? Exams like that are quite nerve-wracking, because your whole career depends on it. Maybe you're trying to migrate into a new country and you've got to bring your family over as well. It's a big deal, isn't it? And it could be a school kid as well, someone at school or uni also facing an exam. You may have a mental blank, or you don't know what's the question is, you're thinking through. So what do? Well, you have to have a way that you can bring your mind to be more mindful in that moment, to calm down. So it may be something very simple, reciting Buddha, the name of the Buddha, or Dhammo, Sangho. Or for some people they use the breathing. You go to the breath just to calm yourself down. Then you can think things through maybe. Maybe you can answer a question that was a difficult question. You couldn't think what to say, what to do, so you calm yourself, then the answer comes. That's quite common. The peaceful mind with mindfulness, generally it generates good answers in different situations. It gives you some kind of pathway, whether it's to do with your work, or an exam, or your meditation dealing with an emotional state that's suffering. When you establish mindfulness, you can often see it in a new light, an unbiased light. So particularly with mental stress and suffering, maybe you you're very upset about something, or angry, or sad, you do a bit of mindfulness meditation, and then you look back at this problem, you say, maybe it's not as bad as I think, it's just thinking. Overthinking. We do a lot of overthinking in life. We think, oh, got this problem, what do I do? And your mind spins out very fast, thinking very fast, gets tired. When you establish the mindfulness, you maybe just see the thoughts arising and passing away, but you don't get too involved with them. We say, when you're mindful, you separate from the thought or the mood you're in, and then it's not so overwhelming, it doesn't bother you so much. You may be angry or sad or worried, but you just know, oh, I'm worried, and you don't follow those thoughts or get lost in them because you're mindful. But if you're not very mindful, you don't get that separation, you're just stuck with your mood, and then of course it's very hard to find any solution to a problem or work out or get understanding if that's what you need. So a mindfulness practice will also help you.
The second question is, can I know if someone scolds me or shouts at me and I do nothing at it? Do I get any benefits?
Of course you get merit. If there's provocation, the first merit you might get is you are tempted to answer back, or scold them, or argue, or fight. But you practice restraint, don't you? You say, I'm not going to do that. This is what we call the restraint of sila. You have some moral integrity, you have some mindfulness. You may be angry inside, you have the thought of anger or the mood, but you don't act on it, you don't speak. That's very meritorious, very powerful, good karma. Even better if you can turn your thoughts into compassion at that moment when they're being angry or scolding you, and a normal person might react with anger, but you don't. You say, they're scolding me, they're making bad karma here. They're the ones suffering, not me. If you can bring that thought up in that moment and have compassion for the person who's scolding you, that's even more merit, very powerful, good karma. You may even be letting go of some of the roots of your very anger, the attachment to anger, because in that situation you're being provoked. You would normally get angry, but you're not. You're just seeing it in a new light. Oh, this person, they're suffering. And your mind turns into compassion. So your mind becomes very wholesome, in a good state. The one problem with this is, as you become more wholesome and more peaceful, because you're practicing well, making merit, sometimes they get more angry. And sometimes it's particularly husband and wife, or two friends. Why aren't you getting angry? I'm scolding you. And one of them is getting more calm, compassionate. You should be angry. And then they get more angry because you're not getting angry. So you have to be double patient, make double the merit. But it's a good thing. You have to practice this. There's many situations in life will provoke us to become angry, and you have to work at it. Don't give in to your anger. When you get angry, what does your mind say? It says, say something, do something. But when you do something in anger, you usually regret it later. You usually make a mistake, you say something not very good, or you do something not very good. What do they say? A moment of anger can destroy a lifetime of good. So if it's a relationship, say husband and wife live together many years, one moment of anger and you scold them or you argue with them, maybe it ruins the whole relationship. Or if you're at work, it very rarely happens because no one wants to lose their job. But if you get angry with your boss, no job. Or if you're in a monastery, you get angry with the senior monk. But usually we forgive people when they get angry. We try and help them. But anger is a destructive force. It destroys your mind, your peace of mind, your clarity, your good qualities, and it destroys relations with others. So don't give in to your anger. You have to hold on. Be patient. Be restrained, don't speak, don't act when you're angry. Wait until you've calmed down. So maybe if you're in a situation where you're getting angry, walk away, go away. Wait until you're calm, then come back. This is why it's so hard to practice this at home, because when you're at home it's hard to move away, because maybe home is quite small space, and you see the person you're angry with, you walk away, maybe they follow you into the other room. Don't walk away from me. Oh, I'm angry, I don't want to speak now. No, you're going to speak now. And they force you to speak, and it's like, oh. That's how it is, isn't it? When you're angry or someone's angry with you, they might follow you around and they won't let you get away. So it really puts you under pressure. You have to stay calm, mindful. And sometimes you just allow them to win the argument or whatever it is. You just, yeah, okay, you know, they say their thing and maybe they're totally wrong or unkind, cruel even. And just let them say their words. If it's just words, it's just words. It doesn't hurt you too much. As long as it's not physical violence, that's harder. But if it's just words, just let them say what they want to say. And you don't have to argue. And if they say, I'm right, you see, you can't say anything for yourself, you're wrong, you just say, yeah, I'm wrong. And it diffuses the anger. Because if you say a word, then it'll get worse and everything gets worse. So, not easy, but we have to learn this.
Thank you, Lord Paul. The last question for tonight. Briefly, Ajahn, from a Buddhist perspective, is there a way or practice that can free the mind from suffering caused by aging and sickness? Thank you.
It's through understanding. You can't avoid aging and sickness and death, but you can understand these things. That understanding has to come through learning and educating yourself, and that's what Buddhism is giving you, the tools and the way to do that. What did the Buddha say? He said aging is just ordinary, it's just normal. When you're not very aware and you don't understand aging, you say, I don't want this, but it's normal. You've got to get to that point where you say, well, it's normal, I'm going to have to accept it. It doesn't mean to say you can't try and make your life comfortable as you're getting older. Sure, you have various things to help you through it, but mentally you have to accept it. It's just normal. It's ordinary. And it happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, the worst of us, the people we like, the people we don't like. They all get old and get sick and die. So you're bringing your mind to an understanding. It's just ordinary, it's normal. Then you can deal with it better because you understand it. What do we do normally is we don't accept it. We say, I don't want to get old. No, I refuse. And we do all kinds of funny things to pretend we're not old. So you're stumbling around because you're old and your legs hurt and you're kind of stumbling around, and someone goes to give you a hand and you say, leave me alone, don't touch me. It's okay. When you're old, maybe somebody gives you a hand, it's okay. Maybe your eyes are going, you wear glasses, your hearing's going, you need a hearing aid. You know, with aging, different things happen. Maybe you need to put grab rails everywhere in your house, so if you're about to fall, you can grab something. That's okay. If you see it as ordinary, you just accept, oh yeah, I'm getting old, I don't look so good, I don't feel so good, and you make the best of what you do have. If you know, many people, even in their 70s, 80s, they still have quite a lot of mobility. Maybe they can still remember most things. They're not that bad. You know, it depends how fast you age. But you make the best of it. But don't complain about it or worry about it or get angry about it, because it's just normal. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well enjoy life, accept it, and carry on the best you can. And we can do that. Many people do adjust to aging, sickness and death. It's not what they want, of course, but they adjust to it. If you can't avoid it, well, just learn to be at peace with it through understanding. So you get old, okay, you're old, yep. I'm getting older now, I'm in my 60s, so I meet my friends, other monks, and say, oh, how's it going? What illness do you have this year? What aches and pains do you have this year? How is old age for you? You know, you just swap stories about your old age or your illness. You can laugh about it, you can relax because it's just normal. It's not a big deal. You don't have to think a lot about it, get afraid, worried. That's what we do when we attach. When we're not very wise, not very mindful, we attach and then we form an opinion. Oh, I'm getting old, it's no good. And it's very sad. And it happened today, just today, somebody who was very old and very sick committed suicide, someone I know, because they couldn't accept the fact that they're getting old and getting sick. That's the worst state to be in. You turn on yourself, you give up, become very depressed. It happens, very unfortunate, very sad, but it happens because they don't understand. We don't understand old age. We resist it, we complain, we fight with ourselves or just with the world. So I always quote the most senior monk in Thailand, the Sangha. He once gave this talk and he said, because he's 97 now, so that's as old as you get really, and he's still functioning. I went to see him a few months ago for his birthday. He's still there, teaching, helping people. Obviously he's slowing down, 97, you can forgive him for that. But he gave this talk once and he said, as you age, you have to be very careful because if you can't accept it, you become miserable, grumpy, depressed, angry. He said, don't become a grumpy old person because no one wants to visit you. No one wants to be with a grumpy old person. And everyone knows a grumpy old person, granny, granddad, you go and see them and all they do is complain and they keep carrying the past around and maybe they've got some grudge from 20 years ago and they're still thinking about it, holding on to it. That's another part of aging. Learn to let go. Let go of the past. Okay, some bad things have happened to you in your life. It's hard, but don't carry it around like a burden, a heavy burden. Let it go, let it be, relax. Focus more on the present and be a blessing. Don't be grumpy and complaining. Be a blessing to your family, to anyone you're involved with. Smile, help them, be kind to them, have a few kind thoughts, a few kind words. One of the biggest sufferings of old age is loss of mobility, isn't it? You can't get out, you feel like you're not worth anything anymore. You feel like you're kind of half a person or something like that because you can't do the things you used to. But don't focus so much on what you can't do. Think about what you can do. I can still think, I can still talk, I can still see things maybe or hear things. There'll be many things you can still do depending on your state of your health, but focus on what you can do. Maybe you can still listen to Dhamma teachings. You can listen to a talk like this with me talking about old age. You can read a Dhamma book. You can have, if you can't read it yourself because your eyes are so bad, then you can get someone else to read to you. Or you can listen to the audio. Now we have all the technology to help us. You may be in a wheelchair when you get old, or you're on a walker, or you can't move very much, but you can still do many things. You can still say a kind word to the person who cares for you or walks into the room. You can say something nice to them. You can still have a thought of kindness to help someone. Maybe you can't do anything yourself, but I know some old people, they've learned to use they used to have a mobile phone, but when you get older and your hands are shaky, your eyes no good, maybe use an iPad or some kind of tablet, and they can go on their tablet and they can buy something and send it to a friend. Dana. You can do dana online. You don't need to go anywhere. You sit there and say, oh, I got this little bit of money. I'm going to buy something nice and send it to that person and make them happy. And you can press a few buttons and do it. You do have to be careful though, because when you get old, sometimes you make mistakes, like the one lady and sent all her bank account to the wrong person. That does happen, so be careful. If you are in danger of that, we'll get someone a bit younger, your young relative, to help you. But you can press a few buttons and do a lot of good in this world, if you're thinking of it. You say a few words, press a few buttons, it's possible. So Dhamma practice is possible right up to the very last breath. Whether you're ill, you're old, doesn't matter. There's always something you can do.
Thank you very much.